This is 2023 Buick Encore, and I've been reviewing this. Well, I've been driving it for a while, and I have to say I've got some pretty interesting things to say about it. It's not a bad looking car, but stick with me and we'll get into it. So that was the initial walk around, and then excuse the trash, but we'll go ahead and get into the car. And it's got some interesting upholstery choices. I'm not exactly sure about the, well, you'll see. It has black and white seats, which, as you can see, really show if you've been a little dirty. I am a mechanic, by the way, and some of the plastic and things that are used in the car I have my worries about, because it just, some of the stuff, I accidentally turned on the windshield wipers there, but some of the stuff just kind of feels cheap, like it won't last very long. Like a bunch of older cars, they have really tough, like, I almost feel like I'm already starting to dig into this, like it won't be here for very long. But we have settings on there, so that can set your seating position. The seat has full electronic control on this side, and then that side has front and back, and then a lever for your reclining, but still has lumbar support. We're equipped with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This model has seat warmers, which I think this is the base model. I'm not exactly sure, don't quote me. We have a USB Type-C, same old USB Type-A, aux ports still in these cars, which is actually kind of impressive. And you have your hazards over here, and the sound system, I will say, is not bad. It is actually pretty decent. The bass, if you're a bass head, it is good. It shakes the mirror. If you do too much bass though, it starts distorting, and the speakers are very easy to distort and make sound bad if you don't know what you're doing and you dig into the settings. However, I do, and playing around with it, I was able to make it sound okay / decent. You are only able to play with mid, treble, and bass. There are no filter options or anything like that you would see on an aftermarket radio, because I don't know any first party radios that you can do that in, but it's whatever. So you have right here just a bunch of information. It's your miles per hour, your total distance, and then these are your trips, obviously, your miles per gallon, and then your fuel range, your oil life. It has tire pressure, it has air filter, brake pad life, follow distance, driver assistance, all that good stuff. And then you flip it over here, and that's your main page. If you notice right down in there, it says two-wheel drive, and that is because this is an all-wheel drive model that is selective, so you can put it in all-wheel drive when you want to. It also has the auto stop, which you can turn off, the traction control button. As far as I can tell, there are no sport modes or driving modes for this Buick Encore, which is actually kind of interesting, because I thought that most vehicles nowadays did have driving modes, so it is decent. Oh, and there's a cigarette lighter down there, and there is, like I said, no sport. It has low, and then the parking brake, which is electric, because they don't have manual parking brakes anymore. And if you're looking for the mics, there's one right there, and then there's one right there next to the handle. And yeah, now if you want to talk back seat space, we're gonna be talking not much. I actually am a father recently, and you have to slide the seats up a lot to get a car seat in here. It is and he doesn't even have the big one yet. He has the reverse style that gets in the middle. And you know, I have my tripod and everything that it looks like slid up under there and broke. That's cool. That's awesome. So yeah, not much backseat room in the Buick Encore. However, oh, also, forgot to mention, it is touch to start. So that's pretty cool until the battery runs out, but that's just my thing. I like a good old-fashioned key to turn, but that's just me being an old fart. So this is what you get as far as room in the hatch. And I have some tools and stuff, and a 7.3 starter right there, an old shirt. And yeah, this has the little thing right here. It's like a shelf, I guess. I think it's just to cover things, but yeah. And you tap that, it goes back down. I think there's a storage area under there. Oh, excuse me. And then you pull this right here, and the hood opens, and it notifies you of literally everything you do in this vehicle. And I actually have not popped the hood on this yet, so I don't know where the hood pop is. So give me a second to find that. All right, so under the hood that we have here is an inline 3 turboed engine that puts out, I think, 155 horsepower. It's either that, because I think there's a 1.3 and a 1.2, and the 1.2 puts out less, the 1.3 puts out 155. I think this is a 1.3. I'm not exactly sure because I don't know Chevy or Buick all that much, but it is incredible to me that we have an inline 3 that just does not even sound right. That's crazy to me. But look at how tiny this thing is. It is so tiny. I could pick this up out of the engine with just my arms out of the engine bay. Like, it's so wow, it's just spaghetti. I wouldn't pull this off, but it's got a torque right here, and I don't feel like getting my tools out. But yeah, it's wild. It is wild. So that's the engine. That's the power plant of this thing. So it's front wheel drive, all wheel drive, optional. Now, let's take it for a drive. Let's go. Now, these are beautiful scenic roads to drive on, but the 1.3, or yeah, the 1.3, a 3-cylinder engine, definitely sounds strange going down the road. I don't think I'm going to be able to pick up on that, but it drives good enough. It's actually pretty peppy considering, and it's smooth, but for me, it's lacking on power. It's way too small with not enough power, and I just can't drive an economy vehicle like that, because I like V8s, and if it's not a V8, then I like a turboed V6 or something like that. I'm not against turbos, but it is just not there. I mean, it'll get down the road, don't get me wrong. So we'll actually stop right here and see how she does. So dead stop, stomp it. So that's not bad for a 3-cylinder engine. I mean, that's pretty impressive. But also, this thing is as light as a golf cart, and technology has come a long way with engines and turbos and all of that stuff. You can get so much out of a turbo these days, but the fuel mileage is amazing, I will say, but still not as good as my girlfriend's Ford Fusion that has a 1.5 liter in it with a turbo, and that car is significantly bigger. So if we're gonna get down to brass tacks, can I recommend this car? Yes and no, because if this car is exactly what you need right now, and you can get one for cheap, because I'm pretty sure they are actually being sold pretty cheap right now, because this one I think was bought for under 20, and that's not bad. Buying it outright, that is not bad. Get you something that you need to drive that will be or should be reliable, because I've only had a couple of problems with it, and they seem to resolve themselves after